Mint had never spent the night in the island lighthouse alone, but he was fixing to find out what that felt like. From the predictably unpredictable tales from the land of Ardithian, Penwondertive, Book 1, Chapter 4, Treasure Island. Pulling down the rusted latch and pushing the door open, Mint felt the immediate bath of warm air engulf his face, and he knew the day was going to feel miserable. I really can't believe he didn't tell me. 4 years. He had 4 years, he said to himself, sharing his crumbs with the sandpiper and pelican sunbathing on the dock. Sand dollars and hermit crabs, periwinkles and no-see-ums, all the little birds and critters offered him a new way of life on the island, and they knew him as the bread boy. I just don't know what to believe anymore. Do you think my mom's still alive? Mint asked an elderly-looking pelican, as if it could answer and agree with him. But it seemed unsympathetic, and Bertle was no help either. When the first boat arrived, they dropped off fuel for the light in dirty wooden barrels, way too big for Mint to lift. The next boat came about an hour later, and the crew placed a dock anchor to settle. Mint jumped over the side, and Harrison, who had helped save Mint's life a few weeks earlier, popped his head around the doorway of the cabin with a new book in his hand. "Hey, Mint, got you a birthday surprise," Harrison hollered, perking Mint's spirits up a notch. "Really?" Mint asked, as he noticed old Ray and Mr. Battery having a serious talk at the end of the boat. Normally they would be exchanging laughter for tobacco spit, but not this visit. It looked more serious, and their spit was dry. Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. When I was your age, I loved reading this book, full of pirate adventures and seafaring. I think you'll find him a kindred spirit. And happy birthday, by the way," said Harrison. "Thanks, H. I was hoping for a new book, and you didn't disappoint. Feels kind of exciting to be turning 13, you know," Mint said. "Ah, you're just getting started, Mint. Enjoy these days while you can. Adulting shows up before you know it, and then you'll be looking back at this age wishing you were young again," Harrison said. With a big wave goodbye, Mint jumped off the dock and ran to the house to explore his new book. And the thought of reading for hours made him feel this had to be the best birthday yet, if it wasn't for the truth bomb that landed in his world earlier that morning. Entering the kitchen, he began to sing, "Hello, Dampness, You're No Friend," as one of his favorite tunes echoed in his head. Even though it was sunny, the air insisted on feeling moist, and he hated how it yellowed his book pages and made the metal in the house rust. Still, as long as his prized possessions stayed safe, he could stomach feeling sticky. 4 things he held most dear sat on his reading table: a small brass looking-glass, a canvas bag of marbles in various sizes and colors, a rusted old pocket knife he found washed up on shore, and an enamel and gold music box that he cranked. It played his mom's favorite song, Mockingbird Hill, and as the notes filled the room, he looked at her picture taped inside its lid and whispered, "I miss you, Mom." He didn't have much, but he loved what he had, and it was enough for him to feel settled. This morning's news left him feeling as unsettled as their old wheelbarrow, always out of balance, and he hated that. Turning the page to Chapter 2, he heard the door hinge creak, and Raymond called up to him. "Come on down, Mint. We need to chat." "I must go to the mainland and tend to a matter, so I'll need you to step up and keep the light on tonight," Raymond said loudly, and Mint picked up on his urgency with a sigh of shock. But what about our talk? You promised you'd tell me about the rest over supper, and tomorrow's my birthday," Mint reminded him. "There's no way to get anyone here in time before the light needs to be on. I promise I'll return first thing in the morning before breakfast, and we'll have that talk and celebrate your birthday. I need you to step up and keep the light on for me. Will you do that?" Raymond asked. "Okay. But I've never stayed alone before. Makes me a little scared," Mint said. "Just follow our steps that we usually do with the light. Checks up and curl up with your new book. In all your years, have you ever seen an unkind visitor come to the island?" old Ray asked. "I guess not. But still, You'll be back in the morning, won't you? Mint asked. Yep. Wouldn't miss it, old Ray replied as he began to gather his things. Mr. Battery had brought the news that Raymond Loring had hoped would never come to the shores of the lighthouse, but it did. In another life, Raymond had a family, a business partner, and a daughter. The memories came flooding back, winsome and unwelcome. As old Ray headed upstairs, his fingers twisted the scrunched up piece of paper in his pocket, covered in coffee stains with the little hand sweat mixed in, and its words stung deeply. We have her. Meet us at Old Church Road tonight at 8 p.m. and bring Penwondertive. I know exactly who her is, he thought, and his heart skipped a beat, making him catch his breath. No way he's getting my book of joy, and if this note is true, I'm going to need a miracle, it seems, he murmured to himself, entering his room. Closing the door behind him, fingers following the largest cracked stone on the wall, he paused at a dime-sized divot and pressed. With a shove, a small section of the stone pushed open quite unexpectedly, revealing a brass key with a curved edge, one singular purple gemstone affixed on the end, and the word Penwondertive carved into its side. A few more stones over, he placed the key in a crack about the size of a small fork, but one that wasn't obviously different, and a section of the wall moved forward, opening a stone drawer of sorts, filled to the brim. Along with the book, there were several things inside, including a photograph of a little girl with wind-blown hair and green eyes, standing next to the lighthouse door. Two other photos, a bit smaller, looked like the same female, but an older version of her. One picture showed her holding one baby, and in the other she was holding two. He held them as if they were tethered to his heart. There were two glass spheres inside, one that had a pink light that glowed as if it were plugged in, and the other clear and blue, like the sea was captured in time. He left those untouched, placed a letter inside the box, and shoved another in his pocket. With great hesitancy, he reached in and pulled out his book. Ah, Penwondertive, you will not be taking this trip with me. That we both know, old Ray whispered to himself. Mint was aware of the book now, but old Ray didn't think it wise to tell him where it was hidden just yet, so he returned the book, took a deep breath, and closed the drawer as if it were never there. I've left dinner on the table for you, Mint. Smoked fish and cheese, your favorite. Thought you might enjoy your birthday gift a little early, said old Ray, and handed him a new watercolor set, his favorite pencils, and a candy bar in an extra large size. Never forget how loved you are, and I'll never forget my way home. Deal? Raymond said. Deal, Mint said, as he watched his grandfather wave goodbye. An odd feeling he couldn't quite explain came over him as the door latched and the room grew quiet. It was the first time Mint had been alone, completely alone, that he could remember, and he wasn't sure how he felt. Guess I'll get my chores done first, and then I'm going to break in my new paints, he thought with eager anticipation. Eyeing the fish and the candy bar, he opted for the candy, leaving the fish untouched, and began the tasks left for him. The silence was loud at first, so he picked out his favorite record and played Passacaglia by Handel, checking off each task while the music drifted his heart to woodland dreams and memories of his mother. Mint learned to love the darkness, and that evening when he sat up in the light tower, he would notice the undulating shift of light to dark when the light circled round, and felt as if he were riding a wave through the skies. This night was no different, except that he made sure the light was working well. He stepped a level down the spiral steps with his pillow and a flashlight to read a few chapters from his new book. Turning the page, he felt strange energy in the air, and a soft glow of blue light seeped from the cracks in the walls, making him remember a poem old Ray had taught him. Streaks of blue, this day of light, ride the waves now out of sight. From the sea and shores you came, whisper softly, know my name. The stars were quite vivid, and as he peered out the window, he rested his fingers on the glass and traced out Orion's belt in the sky. One last check of the light, and he felt that it was safe to head to bed. Curling up in extra blankets, he held his knife firmly for good measure. I wonder what my brother's like. Twins. I bet I'm the oldest. Fentonton. Happy birthday, brother, wherever you are, Mint said, and with those words he knew that what old Ray had told him earlier was true, and that his world would never be the same. And here is the picture of the lighthouse, which is called Old Ray's Light. And he is sleeping in the lighthouse alone for the first time ever in his life. He's actually alone for the first time ever in his life. As a almost 13-year-old, that's got to feel different and strange. Thanks for pulling up a chair. I hope you will continue listening to Penwondertive from the predictably unpredictable tales from the land of Ardithian.